Viking settlement example in Forge of Empires. Many comments below my videos asked me to provide a more detailed example, which is not running that fast so that everybody can follow the individual steps. Everything in this video has already been mentioned in the Vikings Strategy video. But this is an example for a first Viking settlement with a 16 days deadline. The start with 3 checks, 5 runestones and the axesmith is mandatory. I add some checks as they provide some more copper coins. In the very beginning we don't have other possibilities to produce copper coins. After 1 hour, the axesmith is completed and I start a 4-hour production there. After these 4 hours, I collect the copper coins from the shacks and the first 5 axes. I use 1 axe to buy the first expansion. I pay attention to get an expansion without obstacles. Those who are willing and able to log in more often can move the shacks to a place without streets, which often allows to build a second axesmith that early. This axesmith only produces once and will be demolished afterwards because the stock of copper coins will not allow more productions. The video instead shows the relaxed version with only 1 axesmith. Even before I release the building type shrines, I use the collected axes to buy the second expansion. With it, I can build the second axesmith now. Due to these many shacks, I have sufficient copper coins to let both axesmiths produce 8 hours during the night. Now I buy the third expansion with another 12 axes. I accept the disadvantage that this will increase the price of future expansions that I might buy with meat. Overnight the smith produced enough axes to release the new building type shrines. Only with shrines we will be able to have enough copper coins to let multiple production buildings work simultaneously without interruptions. Until then, we demolish the second axesmith to add more shacks and shrines. The number of shrines that can be built at this moment of the settlement varies depending on the number, size and location of these obstacles. If you want to use the space more efficiently, you can move the shacks to a place without streets. If you are able to add another shrine by doing so, you already improve the copper coin production. In this example, we have 6 shrines producing a fair amount of copper coins that we need to establish that 884 production rhythm. The 2 shacks without a street connection provide the required population but no copper coins. We have to accept that disadvantage. At this second day, we still have to start 4-hour productions. Therefore, I logged into the game in the morning, at noon, in the afternoon and again in the evening. Until releasing the meat brewery, we still have to produce a lot of axes. Therefore, 2 shrines were removed to be able to build a second axesmith. Its night production will help us significantly. You recognize that the settlement gets reconstructed all the time. We build an axesmith and demolish it. We build it again. We build shrines and remove them. And we do all this without having the reconstruction mode that helps us so much in the main city. Due to the fact that we bought the third expansion that early, we already have so many shrines that we have enough diplomacy. Using the overnight production of the axesmith, we now can release the new building type meat brewery. The second axesmith gets demolished again and a meat brewery is constructed instead. We need meat as soon as possible to be able to buy more expansions with meat. At this point of the game, don't wait until you produced all required axes. This would delay your development significantly. As you can see, the good stock of copper coins allows the usage of 8-hour productions. Only because of the 1-hour construction time of the meat brewery, another login is required. The first 5 meat have to be invested into another expansion. The additional space is used to increase the copper coin production by building more shrines. Since the Vikings Strategy video, we all know that we need an average of nearly 3 production buildings and that we have to compensate the fact that we started with less. The shrines are already the preparation for building a 3rd production building. With the meat that we produced overnight, we then can buy the 5th expansion in the morning. It is possible to play a bit more aggressive in this phase by condensing the shacks in one corner of the map without street connection and to have 3 goods productions up and running. But to have enough copper coins, it would be necessary to log in every 4 hours or more. I prefer the relaxed version with 8-hour productions. I first produce a good stock of copper coins and do not build the 3rd production building before I replace the shacks by huts. Once again, these many shrines provide enough diplomacy so that the next quest is completed automatically. That day I really used 4-hour productions. But there was no real reason to do that. I was online anyway, otherwise I could have used 8-hour production cycles without significant disadvantages. We definitely have a real good stock of copper coins now. In the evening, the new building type huts can be released. Now we have to replace all shacks by huts. As explained in the strategy video, we will need 5 huts. These can only be built one after another. We first have to demolish 2 shrines to have the required space. Next morning, we then can demolish shacks to construct the 2nd hut. This is possible now as the 1st hut provides a lot of population. With the 2nd hut, we also complete the 8th quest. Of course, all shacks should be replaced by huts as soon as possible. But I didn't have much time on that specific afternoon, so I only collected and restarted productions. The 3rd hut then followed in the evening. Already the first 2 huts provide that much population that we cannot only demolish shacks, but also rebuild these 2 shrines that we demolished before. This makes very clear how much building space you gain when replacing shacks by huts. You can do this faster than shown in the video, which still has room for improvement here. In the morning of the 6th day, we then have all goods required to release the new building type Beast Hunter. 2 more shrines and a few runestones increase diplomacy to the required level. This also completes the 9th quest. At that point of the game, I was not able to spend much time on the game. I only collected and restarted productions. It would have been better to build the 4th hut now so that the last shacks could have been demolished. But sometimes I cannot concentrate on the game as much as I wanted to do. The positive thing is that it still is successful. This way it took until the evening of the 7th day until the 4th hut is constructed. As soon as the hut is completed, the last shacks can be removed and there still is enough population to construct the Beast Hunter. With the Beast Hunter, we also complete the 10th quest and with it the 2nd milestone. Half of the quest line in half of the time is a good indication showing that we make good progress. We invest the first horn in the 6th expansion. This now allows us to build the 5th hut. With the next production cycle, we then have enough horn to buy the 7th expansion. Enough space to have a 4th good production. From now on, we compensate the time we lost in the beginning. The stock of copper coins is very comfortable. In this case, I constructed a 2nd Beast Hunter based on the type of goods required for the next buildings to be released. These vary with each new Viking settlement, and you have to adopt your gameplay accordingly. Different to the very beginning of the settlement, it is no longer possible to just follow a fixed building order. From now on, it is important to not only look on the requirements for the next building type that needs to be released, but on the total of all goods for all remaining building types. Avoid to produce more goods of one type than you really need. A goods production building that no longer is needed has to be replaced immediately. Now we have all required goods to release the clan totem, but the diplomacy is much too low. We can fill some empty tiles with runestones, but that is not enough. In such a case, it is the easiest way to replace some streets by runestones. Then the new building type can be released. Afterwards, don't forget to demolish the runestones and build the streets again. Next, we replace the remaining runestones by clan totems, wherever this is possible. Because of the long construction time of the clan totems, it can be helpful to do this immediately and not to wait until you urgently need the better diplomacy value. With 4 clan totems, we also complete another quest. We now have produced enough meat. To be able to start the wool production as soon as possible, I replace one production building by clan totems. Attention! This is not a procedure that I can recommend always. After 1 hour, the diplomacy value is sufficient to release the new building type market. I built one instead of these clan totems. These totems didn't last long. The market then completes the 13th quest. With the remaining 3 production buildings, we produce all required goods until the end of the quest line. This is a solid production phase, bringing us closer to the goal. After a while, we have produced enough wool to complete another quest as a side effect. We already have enough meat until the end of the quest line. As soon as we have enough horn, we also can demolish the beast hunters and build wool farms instead. In this phase of the game, the total of all remaining goods is important, not just the next building to be released. This reduces reconstruction time. Don't get nervous at this point of your Viking settlement. As long as you have at least 3 production buildings producing goods that we really need, everything is okay. Of course, the deadline is coming closer and closer, and some players might get worried if they cannot complete at least one quest every day. But we have a simple plan. As soon as we have all horn that we need until the very end, we demolish the beast hunters and build runestones instead. This increases the diplomacy value so that we can release the wool farm. We demolish the runestones and construct the wool farm instead. Another axesmith will accelerate the production of the remaining axes. With the wool farm, we also complete a quest. When we have enough axes until the end of the quest line, we replace the axesmith by wool farms. Soon we have enough wool then. Now we demolish all goods production buildings and replace them by clan totems to increase the diplomacy value. This allows us to release a clan house. To complete the related quests, we build a clan house. Now things happen very fast. We only need the huts, as the production buildings that we have to build in the end still require population. The space is filled with old willows. When these are completed, we have the required 1000 diplomacy to release the meat hall. We build one to complete the related quest, but we don't wait until the construction is completed. Instead, we demolish it immediately again. These old willows still provide enough diplomacy for the final quest, which needs 1200. Once a quest recognizes this, the old willows can be demolished. This brings the space required to build the necessary 6 goods production buildings. We do not have to wait the full hour to complete the construction. The final quest is completed and we can finish the Viking settlement. We collect all rewards and receive the success Friend of the Vikings.